right, let's dive into one of history's absolute strangest financial policies. This is a story about how a totally desperate emperor turned public waste into one of the most incredible wonders of the world.
You know, if you think filling out your tax forms is weird or complicated, just wait. Ancient Rome had a tax that would make even your accountant's jaw drop.
No, you did not hear that wrong. The leader of the most powerful empire in the world looked at a public toilet and basically saw a gold mine. But to understand this truly bizarre idea, we first have to get a handle on the massive problem he was trying to solve. Okay, so our story really begins in a time of absolute chaos. I mean, the Roman Empire was right on the verge of collapse, completely torn apart by greed and a nasty civil war. So, after the infamous Emperor Nero died, Rome just plunged into a brutal civil war. The year 69 AD actually became known as the Year of the Four Emperors because, yep, 4 different guys claimed the throne one after another. By the time our man Vespasian finally managed to secure power, the imperial treasury was empty. Like, totally, completely broke.
Vespasian wasn't just stepping in as a new emperor. He was basically the cleanup crew for an imperial-sized disaster. He had to restore order, rebuild the city, and, most importantly, pay his soldiers. And he had to do it all with an empty bank account. So yeah, he had to get creative, and he had to do it fast.
And creative, he absolutely got. Vespasian started taxing everything he could possibly think of, but his most famous, and weirdly, his most profitable idea came from a very unlikely source.
Believe it or not, urine was a really valuable commodity back in ancient Rome. Why? Well, it's packed with ammonia, which made it a fantastic cleaning agent. Tanners used it to soften leather, and launderers collected it from public toilets to bleach those famous white togas. It was an entire industry just chugging along, completely untaxed. And so, Vespasian introduced the Vectigal Urinae, the urine tax. Now, he was smart about it. He didn't tax the people producing the urine, but he did tax the businesses who were collecting it. He saw this whole supply chain that was operating for free and decided the state needed its cut. Where everybody else saw waste, he saw revenue.
But as you can probably imagine, this new tax didn't exactly go over well with everyone. In fact, its harshest critic was living right under Vespasian's own roof.
Yeah, Vespasian's own son, the future Emperor Titus, was totally appalled. He thought the tax was undignified, embarrassing, just plain disgusting. He actually confronted his father, arguing that making money from such a foul source was just wrong.
Vespasian's response to his son would become one of the most famous phrases in history. The story goes that after the first tax payment came in, he took one of the gold coins, held it right up to his son's nose, and asked him if it smelled. When Titus said no, Vespasian delivered this legendary line: "Pecunia non olet." Money does not smell. The message was brutally pragmatic. The value of money has nothing to do with where it came from. It doesn't matter if the source is disgusting. A coin still spends the same. And man, did Vespasian needed to spend. Titus may not have liked it, but his father's smelly tax was a massive success. It helped stabilize Rome's finances and ended up funding a legacy that is anything but disgusting. The P-tax, along with Vespasian's other reforms, worked brilliantly. They brought so much money flowing back into the treasury that he could go way beyond just rebuilding Rome. He could now fund one of the most ambitious construction projects the city had ever even dreamed of. The money went towards a truly grand project. It was meant to be a gift to the Roman people, a powerful symbol of the empire's new strength. It was going to be proof of just how far that smelly money could go. That's right, the Flavian Amphitheater, better known to all of us as the Colosseum. Its construction was partly funded by the urine tax. So the next time you see that magnificent wonder of the world, just remember, it's an icon of imperial power that was literally built on a foundation of public waste. Proof that sometimes the most brilliant ideas, well, they stink.